How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Phatt James with us. You heard that right. Phatt James with a PH and two T's. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
What's up?
Whoever wants to go first. You want to say your band?
Oh, Maddie. Sorry. I thought Matt was going.
I thought you would go first, Chris.
My name is Chris. I play drums with Phatt James. Nice to meet you, Chris Wilson. My bad.
No, it's all good. My name is Matt. I play guitar and I sing in the band Phatt James.
Hey.
And we're missing Maddie C.
Maddie
C plays bass and he crushes it.
No, I'm kidding. Now you see, if you watch this, I'm not actually bad. I'm just a little disappointed. I thought you would want to pull up for the party. I thought you would want to pull up for the party. I was feeling good. Now I'm.
It's all right. He's got to work today. Good job, Maddie C. Being good on you for working. Got to make that bag.
Got to make the bag. Yeah, so you guys can go out and tour. I respect that.
Somebody's got to pay for the van.
There you go. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout outs to Erica. She is amazing. If you do live in the Connecticut area and you are in a band, go work with her. She's fantastic. We've been working together for like 6 years plus. So go show her some
major
love.
Shout out to Erica. Thank you, Erica, for connecting us. She's the best.
She's great. Well, guys, I wanted to know, since obviously we had a nice little chat beforehand here, but wanted to know how your group started out, Phatt James. How did you guys get your members? The whole origin story. I'm about origin stories. So tell me, spare no expense. Tell me all of what you got.
Matty J, this is all you, bro.
Okay. All right. All right. So 2017, I think, is when is that? When we graduated? We went to...
You graduated, yeah.
Graduated that year? Oh, I went to school 2013, so 2014. So probably like 2014, 2015, I'm starting to play guitar more seriously and like thinking about writing songs and stuff. So like I got into that and like experimenting with that, and I felt like it was like going well, so I kept doing it, having fun with it, and played with some guys, my buddy Mark and my other buddy Andrew and my buddy Timmy, and we were all jamming, and that's when Phatt James like first started. Really, the band started there, I would say, and then there's so much in between, I guess. Just there was a whole New Hampshire scene. There was because we were up in New Hampshire. There's a whole New Hampshire scene.
Okay.
Little music scene up there that was like really fun to be a part of and everything. And I don't know, when did you come into the picture, Chris? What year was that?
So I was probably 2017 into 2018. I got introduced to Matt, luckily, through guys that I was playing with up there at the time. And Matt and I had played shows together just in separate bands. And I love the music of Phatt James. And there was an opening at drums. So before they did anything, I went to Matt and I was like, dude, just give me a shot to jam, please. 1 second, just one afternoon, give me a shot. We'll jam some songs, I'll learn a couple of tracks, whatever. So luckily jam went well. Connected with the guys and everything, got to play a really, really awesome show with them up in New Hampshire, this really awesome spot that we kind of called home, called the Stone Church. Major shout out to Stone Church in Newmarket, New Hampshire. Love those guys up there. And then from there, I graduated a year behind Matt, and then we lived together for a year after that up in New Hampshire, played a ton of shows in the Boston area, tapped into Burlington, Vermont, kind of the whole like northeastern scene, Maine and everything like that. And then Matt and I, after that year, maybe 2019, moved back to Connecticut and played down there for a while. Got connected with Maddie C, our bass player, in 2019 through, shout out to Craigslist.
Oh,
that's how we met Maddie C. So that was really, really cool. He, came in to, we were jamming at my parents' house at the time. And he came in, it's like 21 years old. He was delivering cheese at the time in a truck. And, he comes in, and we're like, dude, what's up? You know, and he just sits down, learned a couple of songs already. We had a killer jam session, similar to like how I connected with Matt, just kind of an instant connection, worked out great. And then, you know, he's been in ever since, and we've been playing, you know, a lot of Connecticut shows, New York City and everything, which has been great. And then, you know, the pandemic hit, unfortunately. So when that happened, Matt and I were living together. Matty C was living in New Haven, and we're like, you know what? We can't play live shows. Let's record an album. So completely revamped over my whole parents' basement, turned it into like a little studio. And we spent about 2.5 years to 3 years really kind of working through the songs, rewriting parts, you know, just working through songs that we had already that we wanted to put together. And we were working with our homie, major shout out to Trevor Buckingham, our engineer, producer, and everything from Massachusetts.
Let's go.
He put it together for us. We just did all the tracking at my parents' house and everything. And he put it together and made it sound amazing. And now we are in 2024 playing shows, and looking forward to putting out a video next week.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. Yeah, we're hyped. So did I miss anything, Matthew?
No, I think you did a great job.
Kudos. This is great. This is gonna end up on the wiki, guys. So I'm stoked.
Yes. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. One of the things that I do typically whenever I have groups on is like I try to go and dig deep for some information. So like I went onto your Spotify, checked out the profile, and that was kind of like what Chris said about like literally just taking your parents' basement and just making it into a studio and like really doing it. Like that to me like screams DIY energy, and I love that because that's like me to a T. Like it kind of reminded me of like my early years of doing YouTube, where I was in my parents' basement making videos and like interviewing bands and stuff. So it to me is like I appreciate the fact that that's like a part of your ethos and you know why you do it, because I think to me I feel like it makes you like more determined to do it, because you're just like, listen, we don't have the time to like, not to say like if you do spend time in a studio that's great, but like I think for someone to just go out and be like, hey, I want to do this, like I'm gonna try to do it as best as I can and then send it off to the next best person to do it, like that is such a great basis point, and like, you know, obviously building blocks to the next, you know, stage of Phatt James, you know. And so
100%.
I love that. What were kind of some lessons you guys learned while like doing that? Because I imagine, you know, learning how to record, learning how to do all that stuff is very interesting to say the least. So how was that time period, and how'd you guys kind of like, is there anything you would have done differently now being a band and like learning new things that you'd be like, I think we should have done it like this, and now you'll know for the next time, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hijack it from Matt at all, but I think just going into it, I had very little knowledge kind of the recording process and how to go about it, because, you know, I've always been really intrigued by it. I always thought, you know, engineering and just the whole recording process has always been such a cool, you know, behind the scenes process that I don't think gets like enough credit, especially the producers and stuff. So, you know, when we first started, it was really, we honestly went in there to record a cover. We recorded a cover of a Highly Suspect song.
Nice.
That we played out live a lot, and we're like, you know, let's put this together. Let's see how it sounds and everything. And I had the equipment that I had was like very minimal. I think I recorded the drums with like 2 or 3 mics. And then, you know, I had Matt recording vocals literally into a paper thin blanket in my parents' basement. You could hear like the furnace turn on because we were doing this in the wintertime. Like,
wow.
It literally was so very like extreme DIY kind of style. And then, you know, we finished that. That was really cool to do and put together. And then we were like, you know, we already have all this equipment here. Let's like just invest some more money, put some stuff together to like really do this right. So when we started like recording scratch tracks, you know, all the stuff that we had was just really bare bones. You know, I was recording with like a Amazon mic to his guitar amp, like in the production room, no sound treatment or anything just to get some stuff done. And, from that turned into like, okay, well, we have to like re-record this part because you could hear the furnace turn on at like the 2-minute mark. So it was like, all right, let's do this right. So when I finished recording drums, luckily, like, sorry, this is a lot, but my
No.
parents,
Go.
my parents' basement is all like wood panels and stuff, very like 70s looking.
Yeah.
So the sound treatment actually was kind of sweet. Like the walls aren't straight and everything, so it didn't have any kind of like, it just had a uniqueness to it. So recording drums was super easy. Like I just like mic'd up the drums. I put one room mic in the corner and I was like, this is perfect. I bought like a set of 8 or 10 mics, and I was just like, let's do this right. So at least that worked out well. I recorded drums over the course of like a summer and a half of recording stuff, writing parts, like sitting there with Matt, and like he was sitting in the control room just being like, basically letting me do my thing, which was awesome because like Matt is, the brain behind all of the music. He writes all the lyrics, writes all the chords and the riffs and stuff. So like Matt is Phatt James, of course. But Matt is also super gracious to let us write our own parts. So like, especially like the end of the song Face Print where you have double kick, like I needed to get my metal influence in there. So I was like, dude, I hear metal drums at the end of this so much. Do you mind if I do this? He's like, dude, crush it.
Go for it.
Super. So to cycle back around to the whole recording thing, when it came time to record guitars and bass and vocals, I was like, this paper thin blanket is not cutting it. Like, this is not good. So I literally built in my parents' house a vocal booth, like fully soundproof insulation,
Wow.
put all like the acoustic treatment on the inside with like LED lights and stuff. So it was kind of like a cool little vibe in there. And after that, like once Matt got in there to record vocals, like it totally was just like a vibe change. Like you get in there and Matt like loved changing the colors and stuff, and the vibe depending on the day. So like puts on a separate color, and like if we're doing Face Print, it was red, or if like we're doing Until I Learn, it was like a cool green or whatever. So for me personally, doing things differently, I think, yeah, orange, you're right. So I think for me personally, doing the whole recording process, we had to do it over. It was cool to learn the bare bones of like what not to do with the way we started, but to like transfer over into like doing it a little bit more of the right way. Obviously, it's not a professional studio or anything, but like the thing that I wouldn't change though, for sure, through all of it was like spending the time that we did on like really making it the way we wanted, experimenting with harmonies and going in and re-recording guitar parts, or going in and like, oh, this drum idea could be cool here. Like, I would love to redo this section, and like not having to worry about like paying for studio time to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Was really cool. And like Trevor, our producer, was really like, flexible with, oh, if we send him some stuff, sometimes he had a kid and everything in the middle of us making an album. So it was like, sometimes it wouldn't come back as fast as we wish, but like, of course, life goes on. So we got everything back and everything. And I don't know, that was me personally, but I don't know if Matt has separate opinions about what he would or would not do differently, but it was really cool, a really cool process overall.
Matty J, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Chris nailed it on the head right there. What I was gonna say is that I forget what you're saying, but the one thing I would have done differently, talking about Trevor, I would have reached out with him throughout the process more, because Chris and I just hammered it. Like we went in, like, I don't know, we probably played for, I don't know, however long we did. We did a lot of time where we were spending at least a few nights a week in there. And during that time, we should have been communicating with Trevor more. So for anybody that's in a situation where they're sending music out, like communication between that other person is key. Because we were kind of under the impression of, we'll just record all this stuff and send it all to him. And this is like 9 tracks worth of song, 10 tracks worth of song. We'll send it all to him. And then, he'll be able to work on it and mix it and whatever. But we should have been communicating more the whole time, I think.
Definitely.
Which would have been good. What I was thinking of that I blanked out on. I'm really glad to hear that you say what you were saying, Chris, because it's like, man, Chris put up with a lot of me in the in the recording session, like him recording me, but me singing, or a lot of times singing, playing guitar, even just like, man, recording is tough. It is tough. And I had a blast. doing it. There's no doubt about it. I had a blast doing it. But For me, like I definitely am a perfectionist, so it's like, you hear all these things and you gotta be reasonable about it and everything, but there's definitely times where it like gets to you and everything. So because I want these songs to be in the best version that they can be.
Sure, of
And
course.
Chris was super super supportive during that, so I appreciate that, bro. And
Love you, dog.
it's good to hear you say that. And Chris had his fair share of fucking around with it too. Oh,
Oh,
excuse my
dude.
language. Sorry.
Oh, you can say whatever you want. I don't. Yeah,
No,
you're
no,
good.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure. Because for me, I love sitting in there and like you could hear Matt work through parts that he really like either was not on, not completely sure on, and just like trying different things, like saying words differently or whatever. And then sometimes we would like comp like a sentence together,
Mm,
and then we'd hear kind of how he wanted to do it, and then he'd go back and record it full. So it was kind of like just an interesting process and like a really cool way of going about it, where it was like, looking back, we'd be there on like a Wednesday night after work, and like we're gassed, we're tired from the
sure.
day,
Yeah.
like, and we just go in there and like we're powering through it. But sometimes like in those moments we've come out of like these amazing moments. Like there was one time in specific that I remember where we were recording the end of the last guitar line on the album for the song, the title track, Just Begun. And Matt played this one solo through the end, kind of all the way through, but wasn't sure how to finish it. So we're like kind of working through it. And I actually have it on video. I had like this little janky, like point and shoot camera that I
Nice.
recorded a bunch of stuff over the course of the time that we did it. And I set it up at the time that he was recording this, and him and I are like working through the melody at the end, which like I was hyped on because like as a drummer I usually just keep my mouth shut. I'm like, I went to school for music, so I have a little bit of theory knowledge, but like not to anywhere near where these guys are, of course, like writing parts and stuff. So I'm just like, you guys do your thing, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and if I like maybe have an idea, I'll chime in. So this part, like Matt was just kind of unsure of where it was going, so was I. There's just so many options of where
Sure.
what you could
Yeah.
do. So luckily, like Matt and I, through talking about it, came up with a line together, like for the last couple of notes, and like recorded it. And it just was like this awesome, like epic moment at the end, and like it was just so cool to like for that, ultimate moment of the album. It's like almost kind of the climax moment, even though it's at the very end, just to have this huge like epic song and like this project we had been working on for so long to like have this moment, and then just to walk out of there and he comes out of the booth and I'm just like, I gave him a big hug. I was like, dude, that was so sick. Because there was a lot of nights like that where like, we'd go in and either things were going really well or we're kind of powering through things, and like we'd always get to the end of it and just being like, fuck yeah, like that was awesome, like
Yeah.
we're doing it. And then we'd go home and listen to it, and then we'd critique it, and then we'd go back and either change things or leave some stuff and change it up, like whatever. So over the course of like 2.5, 3 years of doing it, it was like really working through it, and obviously like shout out to my parents as well, mom and dad, for putting up with us, going over there all the time, and sitting through all the sounds coming out of the basement of doing stuff over and over and over again too. So shout out to them. But it was a really cool time of our lives to like really kind of take advantage of the pandemic like that when we're kind of constricted, because we had played like shows at the house we were living at the time. Like we played in the driveway for like a couple of friends of ours in like the
Nice.
backyard. Everybody's outside, like we're chilling. So like we were able to play from time to time, but when it got down to it, like there wasn't much for us to do aside from record. So like have been times where we were over there like 5, 6, 7 nights a week, just going over, messing around for a little bit, whether it was like an hour or whether it was like 4 hours, we're just blasting through stuff, so for us to be able to like have that longevity too of like singing and having the finger strength playing guitars, and like I know my arms and feet were dead by the time like I would go over there and jam or whatever. But it was cool. It was a cool time, and I look forward to doing it again, just on a smaller scale with singles and stuff like that again too. So it's going to be a cool ride, to always have that, which is really awesome. And we saved a shit ton of money too.
Sure. Yeah. I think it makes it more honest. Like there's something specific about like when bands do like the DIY route and they're just so like you can tell they're so invested in it and they care so much about like their craft that like you almost inherently are like I should like this. Like I inherently should like this because like I'm such a DIY like maniac that
Mm,
I want to make sure it goes well because I do all of this stuff DIY, you know? So like
right.
I can feel that energy and I love that. And I would argue as well too, like I think it makes you much tighter of a band. Like there's something not only like I think personal connections, of course, but like I think musician wise, like there's some things inherently special about like writing those types of songs, especially over like the 2 to 3 year gap of like, you know, again, bands not being able to play many shows, doing all this sort of stuff. I think it really
Hmm.
allowed for people to work on their craft that much more. And
Yeah,
like
definitely.
you know, listening through half the record of Just Begun, I was like, I could already tell there was like so much meticulous thought put into the record only on the first half. And I think I'm excited to get into the latter half because you know, there was definitely some songs in the middle portion that I was like, "Oh, okay, we're getting some good shit," you know, like, I was excited and, like, obviously, we hopped on to do this, so, like, you know, I couldn't fully get into it, um but yeah, to me, it was, like, really an interesting experience and also to know how, like, DIY you guys were to start, like, I think put
Mm,
me into that headspace a little bit more to be like, this is gonna be raw, but, like, in a really, like, nice way because, like, a lot of times, like, I feel like bands always are like, "I have to have the most polished thing," or, "I have to have,
right.
like, my best foot forward," and that's not to say that you shouldn't do that, but I think there is that level of, like, genuineness that, like,
Mm,
a, like, DIY recorded yourself kind of feel has to it that, like, I don't know, there's, like, this inherent magic about it that you're just like, man, there's something I like about this. So like there's extra warmth or there's like extra feeling that you get listening to it and you're like, damn, okay, this is cool.
I'm stoked to hear you say that, man. Yeah, because like, especially with Matt. Matt is, you know, incredibly talented as a songwriter, as a
Agreed.
lyricist and everything. So there's a lot of vulnerability in that, and I feel like as you know, somebody who, you know, I'm not lyrically that talented at all. So when I listen to music, I listen to the drums and the harmonies and
The
stuff
beat,
like
yeah.
that. I find right, exactly. I find all the instrumentals to be very cool. And I'm not to say I don't have an appreciation for that stuff, but like to have the vulnerability of the lyrics be so prominent and then also have the vulnerability of like we didn't go and spend 20 grand to do an album. It was like we literally I spent like $600 in a mic pack and then like $800 to build a vocal booth. And then we just did the rest on our own. You know what I mean? It was like to have that. And then all the time, like I said, I mean, Matt and I's friendship completely changed levels when we were, you know, spending all that time
Sure, yeah.
putting everything together. It just totally rocketed to a whole nother level. So like, not only did the album itself change over the course of that time, like Matt and I, you know, as homies, not to leave Matty C out of it, of course, but Matt and I lived together at the time. So
Yeah.
like him and I would just go over because my
Sure.
parents' house to the house we were
Yeah.
living at was literally 30 seconds away. So it was
Oh,
like, yeah, we were living with a couple other friends of ours. So like I would literally drive 2 seconds around the corner. We'd go over to the house, record some stuff, go back home, eat some dinner, maybe go back if we wanted to at night, you know. So it was a special time to, you know, try and take advantage of that whole, you know, global situation.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Um,
Yeah.
the next question I have for you guys is for people who aren't familiar with Phatt James and this, they enjoyed this harrowing story about, you know, recording and stuff. What song would you recommend to a new listener to check out first to kind of give them an idea of your
Mm.
sound and what you guys do?
Wow, dude. I have one, but I want to hear Matt's first.
Ooh, let's go,
Oh,
Matt.
shoot. All right. If I had to recommend a song, man, that's tough. I do have like an appreciation for all the songs. But I think if I had to recommend a song, I would just say Ahead of Line because
Mm.
there's something about that
Ooh,
song that just like I just feel so good about it. Like I'm so happy with it, and I just I don't know. It's definitely a special song for me, you know. So
Mm.
and it's also like the sonically and everything. I like the way those chords sound. I like the way we all sound together. Yeah. I would say Ahead of Line.
Mm. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I would say ahead of line 100%, but I also to shout out our first EP, I would definitely say Circle Bent is also a great track to kind of learn about
Mhm.
the origin of the logo itself, because our logo is a circle with two lines going through it, essentially, for a lack of a better term. And there's more to it, obviously. But if you read the lyrics and listen to the song of Circle Bend, I think personally it's one of my favorite songs we've ever done. And also the message behind it is a really cool story. I don't want to get into the ins and outs of it because Matt is, like I said, the lyricist behind it. I don't think I've ever sat down and read the full page of lyrics, to be honest, but I will say that the section that talks about just, the logo itself and what it means and everything is just such a cool, way to learn about, I guess, all of us as a whole.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
the way Matt thinks about, something so simple as a circle with two lines through it, like to interpret that in a certain sense, it's really awesome. So definitely ahead of line, 100%. And then, and I would say Circle Bend as well. But I mean, you could make an argument, I think, for most of the tracks. Because I feel like, especially in the album, they have each song kind of has a different vibe.
Agreed.
So
yeah,
it's kind of fun.
I think for me, if I had to choose, I would say Quick to Notice was my favorite. I really enjoyed that.
Dude.
I don't know if there,
Nice.
and you guys can confirm or deny this, but is there like some sort of like slide guitar or like some sort of similar thing in the song? Am I correct on that? I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
cool.
yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like, damn, that's actually really sick. I love that. But like the song itself was also really fun and like really interesting. And then I also got to give shout outs to Faceprint. That was one of the last songs that I listened to before we hopped on. And obviously I got to give a shout outs to my man Chris with the double bass parts. Listen,
Oh, I appreciate you, dude.
that's my bread and butter. So I feel like I got to give it a salute. But yeah,
I think you'll appreciate Just Begun as well. If you got like almost 8 minutes worth of time, that song is in my opinion, right? Because I grew up personally, I don't want to go on a rant, but I grew up listening to that, like progressive rock, progressive metal, like Rush, Dream Theater. So they're like a lot of songs that have these like 13 to 20 minute long parts, so like when we sat down to write Just Begun, well, not write, Matt had written it already, but to work on Just Begun, the song was like, and had originated around 8 minutes. And we were like, do we cut it down? Do we like make it like a 4 or 5 minute song? And I was like, dude, this would be so sick to put at the end of an album, have like an 8 minute track.
Yeah, closer. Yeah.
Yeah. And the in my opinion, the journey that it takes you on is amazing. And it's, there's just so many highs and lows and just kind of, it's wild. In my opinion, it's wild. I think it's like almost like a longer form, ahead of line, the way that song kind of transpires a little bit, where it's got like a lull kind of section in the middle, and then it kind of blossoms towards the end. It's very much so that, just in a longer form, I think. But that song, in my opinion, is a banger.
That's sick. Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Matty J. I think you're going to say something, so I want to cut you off.
Yeah, I was. I keep blanking out on what I'm going to say. But, okay. It's the end of that song for me. Like, oh yeah, the end of Just Begun. This is what I was going to say. The end of that song, that's like my favorite part of that song because of the way it transpired. Like, we did have this whole entire section at the end that I guess we might have had rhythm guitar on. I think we had rhythm guitar on and drums on, and it was just blank, right? And well, we didn't have drums yet. It was just blank with the rhythm guitar. And then Chris went in and then did the drums for it, after trying to find the right drum parts and everything. And he wrote this drum part that just laid out the foundation for the guitar on top of it, which was so cool. And like, just because I remember having uncertainty, like, dude, I don't know, like, I feel like this is too long. Like, what are we going to do with all this? But once he put his drums down and I just was jamming on it, I don't even remember when, but it just, what I played, like, almost had to be played on top of it, which was awesome.
It's crazy how, like, at the time, like you said, Matt, we really had no idea where it was going as far as, like, do we cut this down, whatever. Because for me, when I wrote the drum part, right, I completely, so there's an album by this band Dream Theater, if anybody's not familiar with them. There's an album, Scenes from a Memory. the last song on that album called Finally Free, at the very end of it, it's like the whole album's this concept album. The very end of it, the drummer kind of has this free space where the guitar is kind of playing the same rhythm section, and then he kind of gets to go, not crazy, but like have a little solo towards the end of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, the way that the guitars were at the time, it was strictly rhythm guitars. I was like, all right, this is going to be this time where I can kind of like, not so much popping off, just like have a little bit more fun with it, being able to like kind of come out of the groove a little bit, play some cool fills or whatever. And then, like I said, just the way that it transpired, you know, I remember doing that all in one take. It was crazy. I literally like hit the stop button. I was like, I don't care if that was completely perfect, but I love how that sounded. I need this to stay. And then Matt just like spent a couple of nights just writing some guitar line, and then literally just it was like he copy and pasted this perfect thing over the top, like these soaring notes, and like it just matched up perfectly. It was crazy.
That's awesome. I love that you gave the Dream Theater shout out, because
oh dude, I was looking big Dream Theater tattoo on my chest.
That's amazing. I was looking through and I was like, man, these are some like longer songs, and like I feel like most people are like, I don't know, like, and I'm the opposite. I love long tracks. Like I, grew up listening to like a lot of classic rock. Obviously into like metal music and like progressive metal music. So like I'm not opposed to the longer tracks, but like I also feel like they have to like work. So I'm really excited to listen to Just Begun. I'll have to Instagram DM you guys later and let you know what I think about it.
Please let us know. I'm happy to hear you say that too about the longer form songs. I feel like people think like a 4-minute song is a long song now. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's us cutting down.
Like halfway.
Song,
that's halfway, baby. Yeah. That's the midpoint, baby. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Yes. It's crazy. So I'm glad that long form is still there. And I'm hoping that bands continue to do some of that stuff. I might seem like an old man shaking the fist at the sky kind of a thing, but I'm
totally agree, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, all this stuff from like the 80s and 90s is coming back. I was literally with my girlfriend this morning. I came into the city this morning and everything. We've been walking around the city, and she was, she got her like disposable camera with like film and stuff and everything.
God.
She's like, I want to take like get like a what's it called? Like a photo album and put like the pictures in there and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this stuff was huge like in the 80s and 90s, and then it went away, and now it's coming back. I'm like, dude, bring back the long form songs.
Yeah.
I don't want 2 minutes and 30 seconds anymore.
Let's
go. 5 minutes.
Same. Yeah. As someone who collects a lot of, I'm a vinyl head, so I collect a lot of vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I've already been on the wave. I'm not. I'm just old, so that's just it. That's how I realize, love it. And I'm good with it. But guys, go check out Just Begun and check out all of their stuff. I'll leave it all linked below, of course. If you go show them some love, that would be greatly appreciated. Please. But the next question I have for you guys is, and I feel like I can kind of pick up where you guys are influenced by, but I wanted to know what were kind of like the first bands that you guys either saw on like TV or like saw on YouTube or something like that you saw them and you're like, I gotta be a musician. Like that seems so fucking cool to do. Like who was the person that like, the things started click, gears started to move in your head. You're like, man, it'd be cool to be a musician.
Matty J.
All right, that's an easy one for me. I mean, if we're talking like the first bands that really got you going, and specifically the first person, so the Chili Peppers, Red Hot Chili Pepper, the John Frusciante guitar, like seeing the Californication video. I think my mom showed me that. Shout out to mom. She showed me she got me into the Chili Peppers. But seeing the Californication video on MTV, I always have that playing in my mind, like that feeling of just being like, these guys are sick. And just the sounds that they were making, like that song Californication, like the sounds that the guitar was making was like, it just sounded really, really good to me. So, I was into that. But other bands, like I would say other people. So we got the Chili Peppers. Incubus came into play. I don't even know when Incubus came into play, but Incubus, I don't know. I definitely heard Drive for the first time or something and got into that. And then they've been with me for a long time. Who else? Oh, so Alice in Chains was like the first band that I got into after like my dad's music. Like, so my dad showed me all his music, right? And like that's when I started exploring, like finding my own music. And Alice in Chains was the first band that I was like, wow, this is cool. And then I showed my dad Alice in Chains and got him into Alice in Chains. Was sick. And then I would say Jeff Buckley.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Buckley definitely, and the John Butler Trio. Yeah, but I'd say early on, really the Chili Peppers and Incubus and Alice in Chains. You know, yeah,
Sounds
I
good.
love that.
Chris?
Yeah. Oh, dude, for me, I'm pretty close to that, but I definitely came up with a more heavy upbringing. My dad, when I was growing up, I have very very vivid memories of playing the Roll the Bones cassette tape in my dad's Honda Civic when I was literally like 3 or 4 years old. And Neil Peart, dude, that guy, man. When I saw a video of him for the first time, his giant drum set that was a full circle around him, I was like, that's amazing. And then I remember when I was a kid, the first my dad had this giant CD collection on his bookshelf in his room, and I went in there one day, and the only one that wasn't like the other ones was this white album. Like you could see the spine of it, skinny white, and I was like, I'm gonna check this out, and I pulled it out, and it was Dream Theater's Live at Budokan album. So threw that in the CD player, and the first song on it is a song called As I Am, which I now have their logo and the lyrics from As I Am tattooed above my chest, because that really was the song that like just sent me into the world of music. And then, from there, I started beating on pots and pans when I was like 7 or 8 years old. My uncle was gracious enough to give me a tiny little drum set when I was really young.
Oh,
So yeah, I started there, and then growing up, my whole upbringing just got like from Rush and Dream Theater, and it just started spiraling into this crazy world of metal and metalcore and hardcore and stuff. And I just like I have this massive appreciation for music that way. And then as I've gotten older, now I have like this huge appreciation for this weird appreciation for like country music and pop music. And then also on top of that, I played in the entire time I grew up. I was playing in classical symphonies. So I have a major appreciation for classical music and symphonic music and stuff like that. So as far as a drummer though, like seeing those guys, Neil Peart and Mike Portnoy alone, those are like my two guys. And then Joey Jordison too. I got to give a shout out to Joey Jordison. Rest in peace. But he is where the speed element came from, and I was like, dude, I need to start playing some double bass, man. So yeah, that's kind of where I started. But I mean, Matt introduced me to especially the world of Incubus. Incubus is a band that I've grown to appreciate so much because of Matt, because their drummer is super underrated.
Oh yeah.
Jose is amazingly talented, incredible parts. And actually, shameless plug, Phatt James has a side gig of us playing an Incubus tribute set that we have played one show before. A friend of ours, Jack Shea, who lives in Maine, right? Maine or New Hampshire, I forget.
He lives in Maine.
He lives in Maine. Came down and played a show with us. So the Phatt James plus Jack Shea is called unofficially called A Certain Shade of Phatt James for after the A Certain Shade of Green song from Science. Yeah, Incubus just is one of my current favorites. That Morning View album from top to bottom is just absolute perfection. So I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. And then Matty C on top of all of that, like has the widest array of music tastes. So he's always introducing us to new stuff. So like he showed us microwave, he showed us Bill Murray, he showed us like this wild side of music that like Matt and I just hadn't really dipped our toe into, this kind of, for lack of a better term, like underground style and that also DIY kind of feel of things. And that was just like a whole nother door getting kicked open. So yeah, I don't know, really cool.
No, I think I also feel like it plays off of your album. Like I think I
Mm,
was trying to kind of normally I try to find like groups that are like in the same pocket, right? Like who do I feel like they're influenced by? Who do I feel like they pull from? I definitely felt like Chili Peppers immediately. Like as soon as I played the
mm,
first song, I was like, Matty J is giving me like chili pepper vocal vibes, and I was all
yes.
about it. And then like it was weird because then I heard Incubus, and I also obviously it also shows on your Spotify that you're influenced by Incubus, and I was like, man, he also sounds like Incubus. He's like Incubus's vocalist and like their chili pepper vocalist if they like had some sort of like baby. That's what
Oh,
Matty
That's
J would be.
amazing.
And
that
I
is
was like
epic.
I was so impressed because I was like, they have a unique vocal style, and like would say it's hard to replicate. So like to me, I was pretty impressed that like the range that Matty J was able to bring. But then
Yes, sir.
I was also like, they kind of have this sort of like 90s early 2000s like pop rock like sound, and like some sort of vocal essence. Like if you threw all of those sorts of bands into a blender, I feel like that's what Phatt James would sound like and is. And I like couldn't even put it together. Like there was like smidges of like other like bands like early like Maroon 5,
Mm,
like Counting Crows, like this sort of like in that sort of like genre space where like obviously that those bands were like much more popular during that time period. And I was like, man, I felt super nostalgic about it. Like there was something about it that I was
Mm.
like, man, I'm
Oh yeah.
like in my like preteens, like getting into like music outside of like what I was listening to as like a kid, and like branching outside of like classic rock, and like getting more into like whatever alternative like that sort of styling of music was at the time. And I was like, this takes me back in a very like very subvertive way, but I was so about it, but still has this sort of like modernized way about how you guys write music. Like there's something inherently special about like, as I mentioned earlier, the like warmth about it, the like classic. I guess the best way I could describe it is like this classicness about like your writing style, even though I know it was written in 2023. Like there's something nostalgic just related to it. So really, really appreciate that. And I think you guys are like, again, vocally is phenomenal, but I'm excited to see like instrumentally how much further you guys can push the barriers a little bit, because I feel like we got a taste with Just Begun, but I feel like there's more in the tank. So I'm excited to hear
Oh yeah.
what's more in the tank,
uh, appreciate you, man. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. That was kind of just the vibes, and I felt like you guys definitely brought it. So if you, again, haven't listened to Phatt James, go check him out. Links below. But the next question I have for you guys is a fun one.
Appreciate that.
What is your favorite food to eat?
Oof.
Oh
Wow. Oh, Matt James, go for it, brother.
You know I love those chicken cutties. I love chicken
Chicken
cutlets.
cutties. Oh yeah, okay. What type of
Yeah.
chicken cutties?
You can do a
Though?
lot of things with chicken cutlet. You can do a lot of things with them. You know.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Chicken parm,
Woo!
all different types of stuff. It's
Mm,
good.
Chicken sandwich.
Chicken parm is my favorite. Probably chicken sandwich. Make a buffalo style. Do anything you want with it.
I'm hungry now.
Buffalo's a little away from the original, but chicken parm where it's at.
I got you. Respect.
yeah, Matt's a very good cook. Matt is a very good cook. When we lived together, I would come home and he'd be chefing up something new, and I'd be over there making arguably my favorite food potentially. Right? I smash some Kraft mac and cheese, dude. I'm a big time Kraft guy, but I do have an eclectic taste for nice rare steak. I do love my rare steaks.
Ooh, okay.
So I guess from one end of the spectrum to the other, I love dipping into my my kid feeling every once in a while. I'll make a nice bowl of that Kraft. But no, I mean, yeah, I would, if I had to make a meal for myself right now, I'd probably have to pan sear a nice rare steak, throw it in the broiler for about 4 minutes, and sprinkle some salt on top. Oof, beautiful.
I
It's
feel
a
like
good steak.
I feel like Chris would show up with like half the plate being Kraft mac and cheese and the other half being a rare steak.
You know what's
Normal.
hilarious? It's happened before. Let's just put it that way. Has Kraft and steak been on the same fork at the same time? Who knows? That's up for
I mean
interpretation.
that's kind of lit, honestly. I don't think that's is that a take? Is that a hot take? I don't think that's a hot take, honestly.
Listen, I'm ready to start a restaurant right now, and that's the only thing on the menu.
Yeah. you might have to talk to Kraft macaroni and cheese on that one, I think.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, Kraft's mac and cheese,
Yay.
sponsor me, please.
Let's go. I'll do it. I'll co-sign that shit.
That's hilarious.
I feel that I'm kind of like I'm in like the medium rare territory. Like I'm not full rare, but like I'll have a medium rare. I just feel like, you know, and this is not controversial to me, but if you deem it as controversial, then you can say it. But if you cook your steak as well done, you just like to eat as like you might as well just fucking eat a flip flop at that point. You know?
I mean, I could give you this, and you should eat this. This is the headphone case that I have. You might as well eat this brick.
Put a little sauce on that. Yeah.
Dude, my mom orders her steak well done, and we'll put ketchup on it.
Oh no, bro.
Yeah. I can't go to steakhouses with her anymore. I'm like, Mom, I can't be seen with a lady who is eating well done steak and ketchup. I can't have it. I can't do it. I love you. I love my mother so much, but I cannot have that.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, I couldn't do that either. Like any other, like not any other condiment, but just like a condiment that makes sense. I don't understand. Like,
yes,
I like ketchup. Don't get me wrong, but I would not. Ketchup and steak could not be on the same playing field.
They could not be further apart.
unless I'm having like a Philly cheesesteak, but then that's like the only time it would happen, you know?
Right.
Otherwise,
And then even then, I would rather take some like Chipotle mayo or something. That could be oof.
I don't think they have that here in Philly, but you know, we'll go look for it.
Fair.
They're like, listen, you could put nothing on it. We'll put mayonnaise on it, maybe. You know, we'll put ketchup on it. Don't give us that. Like, oh man, that steak ketchup thing's gonna get me now, Chris. I'm gonna be thinking about it for the rest of the day now.
Listen, she is an amazing woman. She let us use her house for our recording, so I would never talk bad about her. But I just questioned her food choices. That's all.
That's fair. Hey, listen, that's respect. I got you. That seems like a very questionable thing. And listen, I've not met Chris's mom, so this is no diss to her. But, you know, to each their own. That's how I'm gonna leave it at.
Exactly.
It's a good thing she's not here right now.
Yeah. I would get beat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I get smacked. You know. Chris's mom, if you do comment, I apologize.
Oh, she absolutely will. Also, shout out Mama James. Mama James is a super cool mom. She's the best.
There you go. She doesn't put ketchup on her steak, so we're feeling good.
No, but she also prefers it well done.
Oh man.
So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she does put ketchup on her steak.
Damn, I didn't want this to be a mom call out moment, you know, but hey, you know.
Here we are.
When you're in the podcast, you're in the podcast, you know. But
exactly.
The next question I have for you guys is, if you were to have a dream collab on an up and coming Phatt James track, who would you love to have on? The question is actually going to get broken up into two answers. The first answer is one that is a little more feasible. Like, you know a homie that you've wanted to get on a track and you haven't, politely bullied them into coming on and doing a track with you. Is now the time to do that. And then the second choice, or the second answer, is the one we're manifesting. I'm putting it out there for you guys. You know, I'm giving you the positive aura, the positive juju for this answer.
Nice. Let's think. I mean, all right. Feasible moments. I would say personally, I'm trying to think of local guys that we really have connected with. I feel like the guys, if you don't know them, the guys in shortwave, those guys are really great to us and super talented guys. That would be a really cool like mix EP, like a
split,
like old school. yeah, like a cool, like a hardcore split. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
would be cool to like have a little, you know, split that way. That would be really tight. Yeah, I mean, anybody that we've connected with locally, you know, from the Connecticut area, even New Hampshire, just has always been super gracious, and everybody we've met is super talented. So like, we'd be lucky to collaborate with anybody locally. And then for me personally, as a long shot, I have a big obsession with Post Malone. I feel like
Oh,
him and Matt would vibe out. Matt is a very low key, on the DL, amazing rapper. So I think Matt and Post Malone would crush a song together. Personally, I'm just saying. That's all.
Dude, that would be sick.
that'd be lit.
And I just want to hang out with Post Malone. I feel like
That's
he's got
fair.
such a cool vibe. I would love to just like boys out with him.
I feel.
Yeah. Matty J, who you got?
That's a good one. I wasn't thinking of Post Malone, but that's a good one. Post Malone, man, hanging out with him, Austin Post. Whew, that could be cool. That could be
he's
so
a
cool.
homie.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I just feel like it would just be so chill.
It would be so
such a
chill.
So chill.
Like if we were to like write music together in the same room, just hanging out, like making music, and I feel like there would be like a similar inspiration.
100%.
Which would be cool. And since we're going megastars, honestly, I'd like to jam with MGK. He'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, okay.
He'd be kind of cool. I'd like to pick his ear on some things. But I obviously would love to link up with Incubus. That would be insane. To link up with Incubus somehow and sing with Brandon Boyd, and I don't know, all those influences. You want to do it all. But in terms of around here, I would say that, yeah, there's so many local artists around here that would be awesome to play with, like Shortwave. Serious shout out to Shortwave, because that would be a cool sounding like song or album or whatever.
Yeah, they're great. They're really awesome.
Yeah, and then Similar Kind. I feel like that'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun. They're kind of they're touring around. They're cool. It would be cool. I'd like to link up on a tour with a band like them. You know, so that would be cool. And then just naturally, like maybe during their set, like jump up and play a little bit. You know?
Oh yeah.
That could be really cool. And then this one will definitely happen in time, but just the homies, the real homies. Like I'm talking about. Shout out to Dylan McNeil.
Yes.
Andrew Hartnett. Jeff, Mark, and Andrew, all those guys.
All friends of ours from New Hampshire, for anybody that doesn't know. Yeah, those are former roommates, former bandmates, current homies.
Tyler, shout out to Tyler.
Yes, of
course.
Bunch
of people, but all the friends, just making homies, making songs with the friends is super good, genuine.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right.
They're definitely awesome. Yeah.
There we go. Well, guys, listen, if you want to make this happen, you have to first go give a follow to Phatt James on Instagram. And then I need you to tag all of those people in a post and then type collab ? And then just full send it. You know, we believe that if it's listen, if it's on the internet, I mean, it's probably real.
Put the ball in their court, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, we're giving subliminal advertising right now, you know? So like I know it's real. It's got to be real.
Manifestation.
You know? Listen,
Manifestation.
So, if you want to make it happen, you tag Post Malone, MGK, Incubus, Shortwave, Similar Kind. I mean,
all the homies.
Kind of be lit. Kind of be a lit time. So, you know, if you want to see an insane collab, that would be wild.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one more. These guys just moved to New York City. I really like these guys. DBMK.
Ooh, okay.
They're kind of like a little bit electronic-y, but like alternative, but like, I don't know. I'd like to link up with them somehow.
All right. We're throwing DBMK into that list too. So make sure to tag them. Right. Just full send it. I got you. I believe in you guys. Send. You can do it. So do it up.
Appreciate you.
No problem, guys. The next question I have for you is, I'm curious how you're going to answer this. As I mentioned at the top of this video, I'm a huge nerd, so I love asking this. If you guys could be a video game character, who would you be?
Oh man, wow, video game character. That's great. That's a great question. Hold on, I gotta take a minute because I kind of remember games that I really loved.
I have one that comes to my mind right away.
Let's go, Matty J. What is it?
But I feel like it's a classic, you know,
Okay.
because I definitely played so many video games, but I was so into Westerns. I was so into Western games.
Oh, I feel like I know what it is.
Yeah. Who's the guy from Red Dead? John, what's his name? John something?
Oh, man. I don't think it's John. God,
I thought it was John.
In the first one? You're talking about, because there's two.
The first one, there's two. Yeah. The first one is the one I played all the time. The second one I do have, but I really haven't played it.
Gotcha. No, you're right. It is John Marston.
Nice.
John Marston.
There you go. John Marston.
That's a good one. I love Red Dead. That's a really good one. Man, that's tough. That's a tough one. When I grew up, I played a lot of Call of Duty when I was a kid. So I guess you couldn't really say like, you know what I would love to be? I would love to be Master Chief, Halo.
Oof.
That would be dope. That guy, his fit is sick. So I guess just to like dress up in that suit would be pretty dope.
You also be like superhuman, so I mean,
that would be dope. That would be really cool. I would greatly enjoy that. I didn't play like a crazy amount of Halo, but when I did, because that was the first Halo, I think, where you could play like across the map from your friends and you just try and like
kill each
shoot
other
them from across the map. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best. I used to get in like super aggressive arguments with my friends when I was growing up about that game.
It's one of the best.
But,
yeah. That's how you settle an argument. You know, when you're a kid, you're just like, we're turning Halo on and we're playing this match, and whoever wins is the true winner, you know?
Yes. Also, the dude from God of War would be sick because that guy's ripped.
Kratos, yeah. Kratos is, I mean, he is a God of War. So, I mean, you know.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like he wouldn't be pulling up with like a bag of potato chips being like, all right, who's ready? You know?
All right, then maybe it's not me because I did say my favorite food was Kraft mac and cheese. So I guess that's not me.
Listen, you could be Kratos. It's all good, you know?
What about you, dude? What do you got?
Well, I feel like I got to keep with my OG answer, which is I am a huge Pokemon fan, so I would be the Pokemon trainer from Gen 2. That's like
beautiful.
The most go-to game, you know.
Who's your favorite Pokemon from that era?
Well, I would take it out, but it's in one of my drawers that is completely filled with more band shirts. But I made a shirt that you guys can check out if you'd like to go purchase it, but it is of my favorite Pokemon, which is Typhlosion, which is like one of the starter like final evolutions.
Yes.
But I made it into like, it's not Typhlosion for if, you know, Game Freak and Nintendo are watching it. It's not Typhlosion. Just saying. Not.
Got it. Not it. No,
definitely not. It's like a parody, you know, so.
Yes.
Do that. But yeah.
Typhlosion.
Typhlosion, yeah. Yeah. It's you know, like flow, like FLOW.
FLO, yes.
Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Pokemon. So that showed up on, you know, quote unquote, not a merch item.
Yes. I was a big time oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. Onyx, the snake, the stone snake.
The rock snake, yeah.
The rock snake, dude. I was big time like, oh man, just the look of that guy was crazy.
He was hard.
I was like, this is sick. Badass.
And then you got Steelix, which is like the steel version of him.
Yes.
Kind of tight.
I never got good enough to evolve people. I always would give it to my friends who would play it for me, and then I would come back and everybody would be a level 100. I'm like, all right,
you're like, hell yeah, let's go. I can crush a village now. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing. I love that. Guys, let us know who your favorites are in the comments.
Yes, please.
But the next question I have for you guys is, you did mention you guys started the band off with a cover song. So I feel like I have to ask this question to you. What song would you cover now? Is there any songs that you guys have been, you know, test running, or like songs that you would like to add to the list that if you're having a problem coming up together with picking a cover songs, now's the time to share the wealth and let us know what you're planning on.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I have to definitely, I think you'll get a kick out of it. I would love to cover anything really by Bill Murray for sure. But their version of, oh my God, the name of the song, I'm blanking. What was the song that we listened to in the car of Matty Steve? I Always Want to Die Sometimes. That song is, dude, it's a cover, right?
Yeah, the 1975 dude.
Oh, yeah. The covers album. Yeah, that was great.
So Bill Murray's version of that, I would love to play that because that song is beautiful.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Matty J?
I think, shoot, there's so many that we should do because I think that is a good game plan. I think that is what we should do. I think we've released a bunch of music now, and I think we could continue to release some singles here and there. But I think, like, going back to how we started the whole album, like by recording that Highly Suspect song, if we went and did more of those videos like that,
oh yeah,
first off, it would be wicked fun.
It's super fun.
Especially now that the weight of like, oh man, like I really want to record all these songs is off our backs, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, to just go and hammer out some really good songs that we like. I think we could do some cool things with Gary Clark. We have yeah. Gary Clark's another one. He's like super good, man. I love all of his sounds and his guitar sounds and everything. Things Are Changing, that song. Like,
yes,
we could just have a fun time doing that. And then, we did jam on Rocket Man by Elton John, you know, and that was kind of a fun thing. We just experimented a little bit, and it was kind of fun. So digging into those classic songs, maybe a little Van Morrison, Sweet Thing. I love that song. You know, there's some songs that I think we could do a really good job just making them our own and, you know, getting them recorded.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
You got some good ones in the tank. So, guys, if you want to give some more suggestions to Phatt James, or you heard one you like, let them know down in the comment section what you would love to hear from him, or if you have a good one you'd love for them to cover. I'm sure they'll check them out. Can't guarantee it, but
100% checking them out, guaranteed.
They'll check them out.
I read comments.
There you go. Chris is going to be on the comment duty, so make sure to go check them out. Leave your comment suggestion down below. But the next question I have for you guys is, if you were to compile a dream tour lineup including Phatt James, who would be on this Ripper lineup?
Wow. Matt, take this one, man.
Shoot. Get Highly Suspect on there. Get Highly Suspect on there, because I want to party with those boys. Woo! I just want to have a good time with them.
Let's go.
I feel like that would be a blast. And that other band they're playing with, they've been playing with those younger dudes, Silly Goose.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're awesome.
That would to just go on tour with them would be sick. Silly Goose, actually, it sounds like they followed Highly Suspect around and then would play in the parking lots of their shows.
Yeah.
And then Highly Suspect hit them up and was like, yo, play with us for real. So to go party with them and have a good time with them would be unreal.
We're going to go start playing in Silly Goose parking lots.
There you go.
Yeah,
and then they're going to take you on tour. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
Don't want it, need it. Yeah, I think if it was me, I think I would go us opening. I would say Highly Suspect after us. I would say I think it would have to be a Post Malone Incubus headliner, co-headliner. I think that would be sick, and then we all just jam at the end.
That'd be tight.
Yeah, I would love that. And then maybe like John Petrucci from Dream Theater just comes out and does a ripping, shredding solo.
He just shows up.
Just shows up. I mean, listen, he's from the New York area, so I would give him a shot.
He's just yoked out. He's like ready.
Yeah, that guy just in a tight black t-shirt. I love it.
We should also have Leanne LaHavas just show up too.
Also sick.
That would be great.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would jam with anybody.
I'll just show up too.
Please. Oh my God, that would be so dope. I would be more hyped to see you than anybody else, personally.
Thank you. I would hope not. I would hope John Petrucci is higher on that list, you know?
That is fair. I did get to meet him once, and that was one of the most surreal moments of
He
my life.
seems like a really wholesome dude, so
Oh my God. All of those guys are super down to earth. They're super nice. Just like, I got to do a VIP meet and greet with Dream Theater when they had Mike Mangini in the band and
Nice,
everything.
yeah.
And you know, the lady who was running it saw, like, I was literally like shaking. I was like, this is so sick, because they've been my favorite band forever.
Sure,
So
sure,
I was
sure.
like, it's such a surreal moment to get to meet them. And then she like put me at the front of the line, the lady who was running it, so I got to like go up and talk to each one of them for like however long I wanted, because I wasn't like, you know,
Holding
trying to
anybody
catch up with
yeah.
people. Yeah. So yeah, they're all like obviously just like phenoms at their
Yeah.
instruments, you know, just legends of their instruments. So like, just to be able to like shake Jordan Rudess's hand, who's just like an unbelievable keyboard player, or like Mike Mangini, who's just like an octopus of a human being,
Yeah.
you know, and then John Petrucci is just like a god amongst men, and then
Yeah.
you know, and then John Myung and James LeBrie, dude, like those guys, it's just I could talk about Dream Theater all day, dude. I gotta stop.
No, they're great. They're great. I just you just reminded me of, like, I watched this one video on YouTube of Jordan Rudess like learning a song like real quick, like it's like I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
like the Drumeo videos, but like it's for
Yes.
piano, bro. That is
Yes.
crazy. That dude processes
Yeah.
at like such a high level. It's insane. Like
Yeah,
next level.
Next level. He's learning like what was that? What song did he do?
He did Animals as
did,
Leaders.
Animals as Leaders, and then he also did Empire State of Mind.
Yes,
and like
Alicia
did his
Keys.
own
It just
version of that.
riffed.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck.
dude.
Man.
Hold on. Collab. Go back to collab. I am obsessed with Alicia Keys. That would be amazing. I love
I can get
Alicia
behind
Keys
that.
so much.
I can get behind that.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's go. Alicia Keys, thanks for watching my video. You know, if you want to
Yes.
collab with the boys, you know, hey, that'd be sick.
Stop.
If we jammed with Alicia Keys, I'd be like, I think you should just sing. You know?
Yes.
I'm gonna just play guitar for you.
I'm just gonna say it.
You do your thing.
Matty J's just like back here just playing guitar. He's just like, man, maybe I might throw in a little backing vocals. And Alicia's like, all right, I got you. You're good. You know?
Just some ad lib stuff in between. That would be beautiful.
I mean, hey, listen, I would love to hear Matty J and Alicia Keys together. I mean, that'd be pretty sick.
Damn.
Send it.
That's an honor.
Let's add Alicia Keys into that list. You know, if you're still watching, add it into the list. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
I want that to happen. That's a top priority, I think. So let's do it up.
Amazing.
The next question I have for you guys is favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Ooh, wow. Dude, yes. I've been getting deep into movies lately. I've been big time like going to see movies. I'm so hyped for the Oscars this year. A lot of amazing movies came out, but all time, I'm obsessed with like old time Steve McQueen movies. Magnificent Seven, the original one, The Great Escape. Those are some of my favorites. Shawshank, of course. And then as of late, I don't know if you guys have seen it. The Holdovers.
No.
Has been surprisingly one of my faves. Paul Giamatti is amazing. Yeah. And then TV show. Prison Break.
Of course, yeah.
Sons of Anarchy. Seinfeld. Yeah.
I would have. I like how you gave us like these like raw TV shows, and then you're like Seinfeld, and I was like
Seinfeld every night before I go to bed.
I love that. Matty J, what about you?
Yeah. Okay. So the first movie that came to mind, which is kind of funny, was The Goonies. I don't know if y'all remember The Goonies.
Yeah.
But like that's a classic movie, and I really like. That's super nostalgic for me watching that movie. Yeah, The Goonies is good. What's the other one? There's this other movie that is just absolutely. Oh, it's Heavyweights. You know, Heavyweights. It's this movie about a fat camp, and it is like just absurd, but it just has a lot of nostalgia there. And But like, I should be more into movies. Like, I should watch more movies. I've seen a lot of good classics. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've always liked. Jack Nicholson. I've enjoyed that. I also like the Disney movies. I like
Yes,
Fox and the
dude.
Hound. I like,
Yeah.
you know, Bambi, any of those nature kind of ones. I mean, they're all kind of, a lot of them are. But Fox and the Hound for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I got some learning to do there. And I would say TV show wise, I like the Survivor Man Survivor
yes.
Man, like
Survivor Man.
Survivor shows. I like Alone. Alone's always been entertaining. I used to be really into Man vs. Wild, then I found out that was not as real as Survivor Man. So Survivor Man's got my vote.
Hey.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. But there's definitely a lot. You know, the problem with me is that I open Netflix or I open Hulu or something.
There's too
I
much
just be
shit.
scrolling. I just be scrolling.
Dude, I do that too.
I need someone to literally pick it for me. But even that probably wouldn't be enough.
I wish they used to have it. I don't know if they still do. They used to have like a shuffle button on Netflix where you could just like hit a button and it just randomly picks something for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that would be kind of dope to have. But, you know.
It's funny. It's funny I asked this question because I like don't watch any TV shows or like movie wise. I'll watch like some movies, but I don't really watch a lot of movies. I watch like a lot of YouTube videos. Like I'll just throw YouTube on my TV and just watch like some like somebody like talk about like video documentary like funny thing or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like I watch a lot of that shit. So or I watch other people interview other people. You know, because studying. You know, learning. You know,
learning.
Love it. So yeah. I got to be a good interviewer at some point. So I feel like, you know, best time to do that is just watching other people crush it, you know?
Yeah,
so.
100%. I'm a big Nardwuar guy. I love watching Nardwuar
is
interviews.
Great. I love Sean Evans from Hot Ones. He's great.
Oh, Hot Ones is great. Yeah.
Hot Ones is
actually
fantastic.
I have a coworker right now whose wife used to his wife's old roommate used to date him or lived with him at some point. Yeah, so he like knew him relatively well when he like first was starting out. So he was telling me about that. It was pretty crazy to like see the evolution. Yeah.
Woo. Dude's cooking. We'd love to see it.
Literally.
I'm so proud of him. That's awesome.
Yes.
The next question I have for you guys is, you know, it's very fitting that Matty J said the Survivor Man thing. If you guys were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would that be?
Oh, man. Matt, go ahead. I got to think for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I actually answered this question this morning because somebody posted about this on Instagram, one of my buddies. And this has just always been a go-to for me because I just enjoyed it so much. And Jeff Buckley's Live at Cine album,
yes,
it's really, really good.
Oh,
it's really, really good. He's you know, it's him solo and him and his electric guitar, and you know, he's singing in a little cafe, and it's just like, I don't know, there's something about it. You know, it's super good. Be nice under that. It'd be nice on the sand, you know, under the stars, listening to that every night on that desert island. Hopefully we found some coconuts and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, yeah. I want to preface that I'm not trying to, like, this is not for you to die. It's just for you to have a nice month's vacation, you know?
Oh, okay. So this is quality. People are serving us drinks and stuff.
This is quality, yeah. This is like, you feel, this is like, man, I did it. You know?
Nice.
I think I would have to go with this band called The Contortionist.
Oh,
their album called Language. I have the I can't pull it up. My jean jacket is too tight right now, but I have the Language album cover tattooed on my forearm. That album is an absolute masterpiece to me, and I listen to it all the way through, probably like 3 times a week, I'd say. Still,
that is a stupid album. It's beautiful. In like the best way.
It's dumb. It's dumb. It's that album I would love to lay on the beach at like the darkest of night and just like stare at the stars and just like listen to that. That would be so dope.
I hope they come back. That's my fingers crossed.
Dude.
They're gonna do something.
Dude. Yeah, that
One
breaks
of
my
those
heart.
bands on my list of like I hope they return off of hiatus is the Contortionists.
Yes.
They're
Yep.
fantastic. Shout out to
Yeah,
that
I
band.
have all their albums, including their box set on vinyl. It's like those guys are unbelievable.
Unrivaled.
Such,
Yeah.
yeah. So amazing.
Big salutes to that band. The last question I have for you guys is first of all, if you haven't checked out Phatt James, what are you doing? You need to go check the links in the description. Go do that. I don't know what
What
you're
are
on,
you doing?
but they're gonna tell you all about where they can find you at in just a moment. But the last question I have for you guys is my personal favorite. I end off all my interviews with this. Thanks for spending the time. Much love to you guys, but I wanted to know why you guys do this. Why are you passionate about
Mm,
making music? Why it's important to you? Because for me, as someone who has been interviewing bands for over 8 years now, I always like feel much more of an appreciation for the people that craft and really make music because it is not easy. Sometimes it can be expensive. You like put a lot on the line to make music sometimes, and so I want to know why it's important to you and why you guys carve out
mm.
sometimes a large portion of your life to release something to other people.
Wow.
I know it's a
Yeah.
loaded
I
question at the end.
how much time do you got right now?
I
You know what
got
I'm
a
saying?
lot.
But
I got a lot. I just gotta go to the gym later, so that's it.
There you
hell
go.
yeah. No,
There you
I think I'll make mine brief, but I think there's a feeling that I get just playing, regardless of on stage or sitting down in my apartment with a pair of sticks and my electric kit, like that. Nothing has ever given me that sort of sensation in my life. You know what I mean?
hmm
I've always used drums and music as a form of like therapy. You know what I mean? Whether it's expressing happiness or expressing anger or sadness or whatever, it's always been there. You know, and while I'm not the creative behind the band as far as writing lyrics and stuff and expressing emotions that way, I think I've always had a major appreciation for the way music has made me feel. So I think you could see that on stage. I think Matt knows more than anybody that when I sit down behind the kid on stage, like I cannot stop smiling, and I'll make ridiculous faces, and like I'll start laughing with Matt and start making ridiculous faces at him and sticking tongue out at people, and like I'll like point people out in the crowd and start making faces at them or whatever, or like singing the tracks back to Matt when he's singing along and stuff. So it's just something that I used to play baseball growing up, and like I love sports more than
hmm
anything for sure, but not more than music, of course, but just something that I appreciate so much. But even in the time that I played baseball, like there's a teamwork aspect to it, which I loved. But to be able to have a team, especially with Matt and other homies that have been supportive with us, to build that kind of a team, along with being creative and having this energy of like being able to make other people feel things. Has just been something that's like incredibly special to me personally, that I genuinely would never give up for anything. So that's how I feel about it personally. Sorry to rant, but
No, great answer. Great
um,
answer.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's a really relevant question to ask, because it's like, when you start doing something that you love, right?
hmm
And you don't see like any future with it really, you're just doing it because you love it. And then like,
Yeah.
you know, for me that was songwriting, right? It wasn't that I didn't see a future with it. It was more so I just did it because it's like I loved it, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
I'm thinking back to like 2014, 2015, like when a lot of these songs from Just Begun, like that's when they were written, like years back then, like 2016, 2017 era. And I've written songs since then, but the point is like in the moment then it's like I was doing it because it's like I loved it, like, and that wasn't a
Mm,
thing. So my point is, whatever it is, like, the other thing I like to do is go fishing. Like if I turn fishing into this thing where I want to make a living out of it, it's like then you add a whole nother element into it where it's not just about how you love it. It's like you have to build it, right?
Sure.
So it's like that's why I say it's a relevant question. It's important because it's like now we're at the point where we have this like product and we want to share it with the world and everything, you know? And so you do have to ask yourself like why do I do this? Because in this day and age, it's like, man, there's so much competition out there and everything, and there's so much pressure and all that. I feel like, you know, so it's like, well, why did you start doing it? Why did you start writing songs, you know, down in the
Sure.
why did you
Yeah.
start doing it? Because you love to do it. Why did you pick up your guitar for the first time? Well, because you liked the way it felt to play solos over your favorite artists and stuff, you know. So when you take something you love and you want to make it into a business, when you want to make it into something that could literally be your life, like that you live off of, you know,
Sure. Yeah.
which we totally do. We totally do want to do that because that sounds beautiful to me. Because yes, it is work at times. There's no doubt, but it's also mixed in with that original love that it first started with, and you can always lean back on that. You know,
Oh,
even
yeah.
if things get a little intense, like, dang, like, you know, nothing's coming of this or anything. Well, what did you start doing this for? You started doing it for yourself. So it's
Sure.
like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah, tangent.
No, that was great. I feel a lot of correlation to that because every year that I do YouTube, because my anniversary is always in February, I always have a time to like reflect on past years and stuff like that. And I always ask myself, like, do you still love doing it? Do you still want to do it? Do you still want to have bands on? Do you still want to like be able to highlight smaller bands and stuff like that? And the astounding question that I always say is like, yes, I absolutely want to do this. Like, this is something that like means a lot to me, but also like now I'm doing it for other people. Like, I would love for Phatt James to do super well and for you guys to do blow up. You know what I mean? That would be so much of an honor for me. And like, obviously, I've only known you guys for like, you know, a couple hours. So like for me, it's like that's what I would want, and I want that for all of the bands that I have on and the bands that continue to come back on, is because like music has always been an important part of my life, and I've always wanted to be able to share that with other people. And so very similarly to you guys, it's like, yeah, this is a passion of mine that I love doing, but I also like know that I want to help facilitate or help get other people to that next level, because
Yes.
that's like super important. And it's like, as much as it's like a drop in the pond in terms of like what I do, I know at least for me, like I can go back and be like, this is important. I'm glad I did this. And like, I'm glad that these bands are doing well, regardless of if it's my own merit or theirs or kind of a combination. That to me is like the most important thing that I can hopefully bring to the table. And, you know, obviously positive affirmations to you guys and going further, all that sort of stuff. Would love to. Of
Appreciate it.
course, you guys are always welcome back on. You're part of the fam. But
No,
Oh, yeah.
we listen, just last thing that I'll say
yeah,
about you
no,
though,
go ahead.
because that's such an important piece for bands that are up and coming, especially like us. You know, we have a pretty tight group, you know, but as far as reaching out and stuff, you know, sometimes you have success, sometimes you don't. And when we get connected with people like you who are like passionate about, you know, helping other people grow to the next level, that means the world to anybody like us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because just to have, you know, even the passion to want to have us on a band that you don't even know really, you know, it's special to people like us, you know, who are just trying to make it in this world that's filled with people who are trying to make it, you know. So it's really awesome to you know, meet you and enjoy, you know, having this conversation. But you know,
Oh,
it's just what you're doing makes a difference, dude. So I hope you don't forget that.
yeah, I appreciate it. I think I live by the mentality of like, you know, I'm gonna butcher it, but like the rising tide, you know, raises all kind of thing. You know, like I think it's so important, and I think we forget that like we all want to do well, but like if you're so willing to jump on someone to get to the next stage, it's just like that can be easily snuffed out, you know. And
Yep.
I think that's always been important to me, is to even if I feel like my platform is larger than someone else's, it's my duty and my job to help raise them to that next level because, like,
yeah.
you never know. Like, you guys could be the next big
Mhm.
band, and I've stumbled upon like a pot of gold, which is great, you know. And that's not to say that that's all my own merit. That's a big shout outs to Erica, but I think it's like really important to. I think it's really important just for the scene as a whole, regardless of where you're coming from. It's like you would want the other person that you're playing a show with or doing a tour with, you would want them to do well because conversely, you're going to do well, you know, and
Right. Absolutely.
that's the point. So would love to see what you guys have coming up the rest of this year and obviously going further. So tell people where they can find Phatt James at, what you guys have coming up in the next couple months, and anything else you would like to plug about your band.
At Phatt James Music on basically everything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We have a Band is in Town account where you can find all of our shows. Our next show currently is March 30th at Park City Music Hall in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We are opening for Consider the Source, who's an amazing band. They're on tour right now. Check those guys out. We also have our Incubus tribute, form of Phatt James that if you follow our Instagram page and TikTok and stuff, you'll hear more about that. At Slim Cutlet on Instagram for Matt James, at Chris Wilson, the drummer, for your boy. Matty C likes to keep his information private, but Matt Cristoforo is our bass player, an amazing homie.
Woo!
And shout out to all the Phatt James homies and team, and thank you so much to Erica for setting this up. That was super fun. But yeah, toss us a follow on Instagram. That's usually where we're most active.
You forgot the most important thing. Well, not the most important, but
what I said. What I missed?
The 7 Days music video.
Yes. Oh my God. Idiot. Yes.
I
saw Maddie James getting up close with it again.
About to say, can you like?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
It's okay.
You're totally right. We are this coming Wednesday putting out a brand new video for our song 7 Days. That's on the album. Couldn't be more excited about it, despite me completely spacing on it. Literally, like, friends of ours got involved. We worked with the amazing Kick of Pictures, who did an unbelievable job with this video. It looks like a professional movie studio put it together, so we could not be more stoked about it. Shout out to Sean Larson for playing the Cupid figure in our video.
Oh, nice.
We had a couple other homies. Matt's sister plays a small part in it. Matt's sister's girlfriend plays a small part in it as well. So we are really stoked to put it out this Wednesday, February 28th. It is coming out on YouTube, probably like 9 or 10 in the morning. And clips of it will be available everywhere that you can find Phatt James.
Nice. Well, there you go, guys. If you have not checked out Phatt James, check the links in the description. Go show them some love. They have a new album that came out back in 2023 called Just Begun. Go show it some love. I'm about halfway through, so you should go listen along as well. If you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. It goes a long way. And, of course, huge thanks to Erica, one of my favorite people. So she is awesome. And massive, massive, massive shout-outs to Phatt James for coming on the show.
Appreciate you, man.